Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So I'm coming back with the free kit from Hunkydory's magazine number 79 with the Woodland Story Wonderful Wintertime. This is the free kit. So this is the second little play that I've had of it. This one is called The Night Before Christmas. You've got this huge topper here, and it really is the biggest topper I've ever seen on one of these sheets. And it's just over 6.5 with all the borders. If you're just going to use the inside part, you're still looking at just under 5.5. So it really is a massive topper. But you've also got these 5 smaller ones, and the 4 sentiments and the border strip with the poinsettia on. And they're really cute, and it's got a cute little hog, little piggy with little piglets reading them a story, my favourite one. This is the matching foiled cardstock with the bear with his Christmas cake. And then you've got the carol singers. I'm pretty sure this goes with this one. Yeah, because we've got the carol singers up there. And the home, so you know, easily split between 2. And I have just dragged out the last 2 printed papers. You've got the scenes on the back, but I'm probably just going to use them as normal papers. And what I did forget to say last time is that this is matte-tastic again, so the beautiful soft colour to them, and obviously as well you can add your colours and things to them. Okay, so I'm going to play with my favourite topper first of all, this little piglet. Little piglets with the I think it's a daddy hog. He looks like a daddy. He's got daddy slippers on, reading them a story. So he would be a boar. I'm not going to make no comment about men being a boar. I'm just going to leave that right there. Okay, so for the first card, I thought I would do an off-centre gatefold because I think all of those little toppers would lend themselves to it really nicely. So I'm taking a piece of 6x12 cardstock, I'm scoring at 4 on one side and then turning it around and scoring at 2 on the other because I've got the smaller board. And then we can just bring that over, give that a good burnish down. Bits of paper here, I was crafting yesterday. And then burnish that down. And I usually tend to have the bigger size on the left and then the smaller side on the right, but you could equally have it that way round if you preferred. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, let's bring in the trimmer and get rid of that rubbish because that was the other day's. I like to start fresh with the tape each day that I'm using it. So I need to do a piece for the inside first of all. So we've got a piece of 6x6 Miri Mat, this one is, in the gold to match the foiling. And I'm going to take 2 notches off 2 sides just to give me that really narrow border that I like. I like to see the white. If you don't like to see the white, then I would just say take 1 notch off one side just so that you can get that in the middle in between those score lines. That would be my advice. So next we're going to take, I bought out from the trim me pad, rather than use one of the sentiments that I've printed because they haven't got the image of the hog on them really. I bought out a sentiment from the trim me, and it rather helpfully tells me the 6x6. I just have to follow all the markings for 6x6. That's just going to give me a narrow border as well, so it's going to fit quite nicely. And this just cut on this trimmer really well, so unlike the inserts normally, or the Hunkydory inserts anyway for sure, the ones I've printed are quite good paper. So okay, so you can see that's got a really lovely nice fine border around it. So that's the inside sorted. And then I'm going to take this printed piece with our Mr. Bear on. I'm going to start by cutting that at 5 3/4. And I'm going to take, so I can take 2 minus 2 notches there, and then I want to carry that one round. Not sure yet, so let me just cut this one down to size. So this is going to be 2 notches minus the 4, so that's perfect. Now I do need it to be at 5 3/4. If I cut it there, I'm going to get just that tiny bit of border. I want a little bit more than that, so let me just take an inch off there, and then take this to 5 3/4. Yeah, I think that's going to be quite nice. And then what I'm going to do with this piece, because it's not going to match up there, I'm going to make sure that I cut that bit off on that side so that it's a continuation of that cardstock. So these little bits I can use for foiling on that big piece, so I'll keep that one. Those bits I will get rid of, and I do need gold mirror as well, so we need to go 2 notches under the 2, so I think I've cut that wrong. 2 notches under the 6. That's because I'm doing them the wrong way around. Let me just check that. That should be 4 notches under the 2. There we go. Easily fixed. So that should fit on there quite nicely. I need to check them now because I've worried myself. There we go. And then this one should be 4 notches. So let's take that little bit off there. This should be 2 notches under the 4. And 2 notches under the 6. Now, is that going to fit, or have I done that all wrong? No, that's perfect. Okay. So let me just go over that again, just in case you're new here and I've managed to confuse you like I've confused myself. So for the gold layers, I always go 2 notches under the measurement. So in this case, it's 2. So for the gold, I go 2 notches under the 2. For the patterned, I always go 4 notches. So 4 notches under the 2 or 4 notches under the 4, whichever piece you're doing. So hopefully I've not confused you too much. Now, if you wanted to, what you could do at this point is take your embossing folder that come with the magazine, pop that in, maybe line it up so you've got something Christmassy in the middle, maybe the jingle bells, and you could pop that through and emboss that. I'm not going to, in case you haven't got an embossing capability, if you've not got a machine. Although, to be fair, some people are saying online, and it's not particularly about this folder but about other folders, is that they've been getting quite good results by popping whatever they're embossing in, taping it down, and then going over it with a rolling pin. You know, just keep putting the pressure on until you've got that equal pressure and you're happy with the result. And that would work particularly if you're embossing the papers, because this embossing folder does emboss the papers lovely. You just have to reduce the pressure if you're putting it through a machine. Let me just grab one that I was doing the other day and show you. So that is the paper embossed. I put gilding wax on, but you can see how it embosses really nicely. I have been using this an awful lot. It's turned into one of my favourites, and I don't generally like word ones. You know, historically, I'm always a bit like, but I have been really enjoying using that one. I'm not just saying that, you'll see that I've used it quite a lot in other cards that I've put on Pinterest and Facebook. The ones that I did yesterday with the remainder of the card kit from last crafting time, the last bits from that magazine sheet that I was using last time. I think there's about 2 or 3 cards I've used that on, maybe even more. Okay, so I'm being a bit rude. I haven't told you which glues I'm using. In the white bottle, I've got Kalau Tacky Glue. This is Kalau All-Purpose Glue. I generally like to put dotty tape pen on the back of paper rather than the tacky glue pen, because the tacky glue, because it can because of that water content, it can just lift the paper a little bit as it's drying. But because the tape pen that I have got at the moment is not dotty, it's a full one, and it grabs a little bit too fast for my liking, which makes me very nervous. I like to craft with things that don't make me nervous. Life's bad enough without being nervous about your crafting things. So for this one, I am just going to use the all-purpose glue and hope it doesn't move. So for the cardstock, I can go back to using my normal glues. I usually put a little bit of tacky in the corners, and I do that for two reasons. Number one, I don't like to go too close to the edge with this all-purpose glue because it is alcohol based, and if any of it splurges out the sides, it can take the shine off your mirror card. Go downwards, just checking the pan. But also I find that the all-purpose glue does have a longer sort of window of opportunity to move things around, which is fantastic. But when you're trying to work through a project quickly like I do in the video, I just prefer to have another glue that sort of tacks it down a bit more for me, so that I can move on to the next bit and be confident that my layers will still be in the same place when I left them. Now, having said that, there has been a couple of odd occasions lately where things have moved still, even with that tacky glue. But I have to say it's those are few and far between, so on the whole it works for me. And the glue dispenser that I use, this is just a cheap one that I got from either AliExpress or Temu. It has got quite a fine nozzle, so it's not dispensing a lot of glue that could splurge, if you know what I mean. So I'm trying to limit the amount of things that I'm doing so that that won't happen. Okay, so I popped that layer in. You saw me do that. Just make sure when you do put it in that you're nowhere near those creases, otherwise your card won't fold very nicely and it will pop. So going to the toppers, here we are going with Mr. Hog and his little hoglets. And because we've got that sentiment from our home to yours this festive season, I'm going to take that from our home to yours on the sentiment as well. I mean, I could go with Have a Wonderful Christmas Time filled with festive cheer or Together at Christmas, but I kind of feel because we've got that little family there, that's going to come in quite nicely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have him somewhere around about here, I think, and then we'll have that around about there, and then there are a few other things that I want to do. Just give that another little burnish down, it's a bit poppy. So let's start. I'm not going very high with these. I think I'm just going to use my 1mm foam pads. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get away with using a whole one. I might have to. I just have to check. Opening that way, or I'm having it opening that way. Let's put this on this side and hope for the best. It doesn't really matter which side this goes on, to be honest. Let's just chop those in half. Just want a nice amount of support, because obviously this is the only piece that's attaching. This is the only glue that's attaching this to our card. And the ones that I'm using here, these are the 1mm ones from a Fix-It. I did get a whole massive roll of them just because of the amount that I'm using at the moment. You might have some Hunkydory ones, which, you know, they're all the same thing. They all work just as well. So let's go around about there for our hoglet. Perfect with the glue there. And then if I take another one of these squares, I don't know why I cut quite such a big piece off this time. Take a 1mm foam pad again. Probably not going to need all of that, so let's put those bits into my tray. Put that on. Okay, so let's just pop that off, a little bit of glue in the back just to give me that little bit of wiggle room time, because the foam pads will grab really fast. Let's turn it around the right way. And then I'm going to go onto there. Now as that stands as it is, it's a really nice card, but it's looking a bit plain. So I'm just going to bring in a few things just to jazz this up a little bit. So this is a Crafter's Companion Sparkle Overlay Pen. Sorry, let me just grab a drink. And what I'm going to do is just on these bigger pieces here, I'm just going to put a little bit. Doesn't have to be accurate. It's just a little bit of something just to give a little bit of sparkle, and you're hardly going to notice it, but it will just lift that cardstock. You could, if you haven't got a sparkle overlay pen or a Wink Stella pen, you could just go in with a quickie glue pen and a bit of glitter. You could stamp over the top of this. Best to do that before you glue it on though. Maybe do a bit of embossing, because we have got this matte-tastic element to it. I'm just worried now that this is not coming out, and it is just not very. I have used it a lot lately, so I hope it's not running out. There we go, that's what we want. I'm just worried that that's going to flood a little bit. There we go, that's a bit better. And yeah, so this is just going to add a little bit of something. And like I say, it's not going to be in your face glitter. It doesn't rub off as well. So if you were sending this to somebody, maybe a single father or something, it's not going to rub off on them, and they'll be like cursing you because they've got covered in glitter. People don't really like glitter, do they? Some people don't like the feel of it and stuff. Going to go over some of those because it looks like none's come out. So this is going to be a sort of labour of love. If you wanted to as well, if you've got any tiny little pearls, you could come in and put them on the top of all these little pieces, you know, really make a pattern with them. Let me just see how that is going. Like I say, it doesn't even have to be exact to the pattern, it's just a hint that there's a bit of sparkle on there. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, so you get where I'm going. I'll do the same on that as well, but I'll do that before I show that to you later on. The other thing I'm going to bring in is just some gold shiny peel-offs. And these are again the Hobby Janelle ones, but you might have some that the Hunkydory did recently. And I'm just going to take these straight ones, just turn this around so I don't get it on my project, and then I'm just going to, I don't want to be on that line, I want that dotty line to come through. just want to make this look like this is the foiled piece of card. So that piece is going to be too short, so I'll pop that on the back. Just grab the next one along. Any sort of peel off. If you haven't got a peel off, then you know, some of those bits that you trim off your mats, if you do the layers the same as me, you will find that you have some thin pieces of card there. So you could use that instead. And you don't have to do 2 pieces, you could just do 1 piece along there. That one's got a bigger space to pop that in, so we'll pop that in. So that's that bit done. So you can see now that we're really starting to make this pick up. Obviously I need to do the flitter in on here, and then I'm going to bring in some red pearls. And I think, do I want to just toying with the idea of going with the blue? I might go with the blue. Let's go with the blue. Or we could grab some of these ones instead. Let's go shimmer. Let's go shimmer because we've got these ones here. So let's grab one of these big ones. And there. And then I'm going to come in with another one of these big ones, which I'll throw immediately to the floor because that's how I roll. And I'm going to put one down there. And that is it. If you want to go even more, what you could do is put red pearls on here for these berries. You could come in there with some glitter. Oops. You know, lots of other ways that you can even take that further. But what I'll do is I will carry on doing the sparkle overlay pen on here because that's really going to pick that up. And I'll get set up for card number 2 and then I'll show you this one at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for the second one I'm going to do sort of a slightly amended stepper card. So you've seen me do in the past cards that have got steps on either side or steps on one side or the steps in the middle, and what I want to do is just change up those steps a little bit. So I'm going to have a larger step on one side. So I've put my card in up to the 2-inch and I'm going to cut from 1 to 7, and just to make things easier for myself. Oh, it's not going to make any difference on this one. It's going to be nice and easy to rotate it. So here we have my card. So I'm putting the 2-inch side with the cut line. So we've got our cut line at 2 inches, and I'm going to score 1 to the cut line, 2 and 7, and then I'm going to turn that over and score at 6 again up to that cut line. So that's what you're looking at there. So you've got your 1 inch and 2 inch step there, 7 inch cross, and then 6 cross there. Now this is just really a sort of different take on the templates that I give you, or that I do from time to time. But if you want me to do another template with this on, so you've got it there, I'm more than happy to do it. So now I'm just going to ease these fold lines in, and if I line that up with the bottom just to make sure it's staying nice and square, and then I can burnish that one down, burnish that one down right there. And just get that one good forward. Burnish inch on the underside. Okay, and you're going to end up with a card that looks like that. So you've got a 4-inch panel here and a 2-inch panel on that side there. Just even that out. So that is what we are working with. Oops, what was that? Oh, that was my scoreboard. Apologies. So let's bring in a piece of gold. And I'm going to do what I normally do. So I'm going to do a 1x6 piece for here. So I'm going to take 2 notches off the 1 and 2 notches off the 6. So that's our bottom piece. This piece here is 2x5. So I'm going to take 2 notches off the 2 and 2 notches off the 5, and that one should fit quite nicely into there. And then this piece here is 4x5, so we should have this piece here, which will be 2 notches under the 4, 2 notches under the 5, and that's going to be a piece that goes on there. And these are the pieces that I talk about when I say you can always use those as your borders as well. So I'm bringing in the printed cardstock, and I'm going to start by cutting this down to 5 3/4, just to separate it from that piece really. And I'm going to take 3/4 of an inch off the bottom, and that hopefully should fit quite nicely onto here, and it does. That's our little snowy bottom there. And I want to take, so the rest of the pieces need to be 4 3/4, and I'm trying to leave this house out because I think that moon is beautiful. So let's do the 1 3/4 piece first of all. So that's our piece for that side, and then this piece needs to be 3 3/4. So our moon is pretty much going to be in the centre of things there. And I think that is all that we need, so that is good. So let's bring these pieces in, and we can start gluing these down. Okay, so I'm going to start with the smallest bit first of all, and this is our sort of snowy base. And if you want to keep, let's turn it around that way. If you want to keep the house in, then obviously cut it from the bottom, but you're going to lose a bit of that moon, that's all. So just pop in both the glues on in my normal way. Both of these are cardstock, so, but you don't have to use the cardstock. There is those printed papers in there as well, so remember those. I'm not sure as well whether there's any printed papers in the downloads. I didn't check. I'd got the inserts off, but I didn't have a look. I think they might be stamps or backgrounds, but I'm not sure. But it might be worth checking if there's any in there. And I think they usually put some in the magazine as well, but I haven't checked that either. So I'll check for you in a second, see if there's any papers in the magazine. But I am kind of liking these new look kits. I am finding that I am getting more out of them, especially, you know, because I tend to make the smaller cards. I mean, I'm going to have to make a larger card for that massive topper on this sheet. Probably going to use a 7x7 scalloped card for that. And I'm 99% sure I'm going to have to use the papers for that one. Because that topper I think I've used. the cardstock that goes with it, and I don't want to cover up any of the images. I think they're too cute to do that to them. Oops. Okay, so that is how it's looking at the moment. As you can see, it's looking pretty nice. I'm happy with that. And then the image that I wanted to bring in, although it's not relating to the sky at all, is this beautiful bear with his tree. I think I'll go with "Have a Wonderful Christmas Time" on the bottom. Just debating whether to just grab some of those papers from last time. See if there's any characters I want to trim out. Just grab them, they've got buried now. I did deliberately move them out of the way so I wouldn't get confused, and now I want them again. Here we go. Let's see if I want to use one of these instead. I'm feeling like he's a bit lost there. See my little, I don't want to cut into my little hoglets. Okay, let's so let me grab my scissors and cut this border out. So while I'm thinking of how I'm going to bring that in. So thinking I'm going to put this around the bottom, and then that's going to tie us in with our sentiment. So the other thing we have got quite a bit of is these vellums. If I use them, I'm not going to see the moon. Maybe what I should do is cover up that moon to make this card work. Although I hate to do that. Let me just check, there is another piece of cardstock. Thinking staying with the blues is going to be better. Okay, let's mat and layer this up. Just thinking, yeah, so this topper is pretty much 2 by 3. So let's see what we've got here. We've got 2.5. Let's go 3.5. I'll go 2.5 minus 2 notches by 3.5 minus 2 notches. It should fit quite nicely onto there, and it does. And then this piece, let's just neaten up the edge, and we'll go to 5 3/4. We've got a nice piece there that we can use elsewhere. What I want to do is just bring in my guillotine, just because the edge of that mirror card is just where I cut it quite close to where it was already cut. It's just made it go a bit fuzzy. So I just want to take that fuzz off. Sorry, excuse me. With my guillotine. And I'm going to bring in, not that one, it's this one. I'm going to bring in my Hunkydory corner rounder. Just to make our little topper. So we're going to be hiding that moon. I went to so much trouble to cut it out as well, so I included it, but hey ho, if it's not working with the images then we have to change it. So that's one of the bigger Hunkydory corner punches. I do like the little one, but I think I have pushed it down to the back of my table and I need to get everything out to rescue it. So I'm just going to pop some all-purpose glue on the back of here, and because it's paper, I'm just going to leave it with just the all-purpose glue. Just spread that out nicely. It's going to fit onto there quite nicely. I'm going to bring in as well a little piece of ribbon, and I think probably going to need to be about there. And if we're going to do a bow, we'll need another piece. So let's pop that out of the way. And we'll need some liner tape. We'll find the end. Okay. Now, do I want this to go at the top or the bottom? Yeah, I like it more at the bottom. So just put those on, give those a good press down so they make contact. And what I'm going to do is try and follow a line. Okay. A bit of PVA behind that, just to make sure that stays stuck down and doesn't fray. And then what I'm going to do is bring my card back in. I'm going to use some of these 1mm foam pads. Oops. Let's see, how does that feel? Needs a bit in the middle. One, and we use this one from earlier as well. And then this is going to go into the middle of my card, hiding that moon. So all we're looking at is a snowy night sky. Wasn't the plan I'd originally thought it would all go together a little better, but sometimes it doesn't work out how you think it's going to, so best thing to do is to just change it really. So let's pop that onto there. I think that's pretty much sort of straight. Going to go with some more 1mm foam pads. This is then going to sit onto my little top. And there's our little bear hugging the tree. Ho ho ho. This one, do I think I want to lift it up, or do we want it flat? Let's lift it up a little bit. So I'm just going to chop some of these pads down again. Obviously if you've got the Hunkydory strips, this is one less thing for you to do. finished now. So a little bit of glue on the back just to give me that bit of wiggling time. I'm just going to pop that into the centre of there. I feel like this one probably needs to come across there. So let's just pop there and across. Going to pop. Just ties it all together a little bit better. And we want a little bow, so bow maker comes in. I'm using 3mm ribbon, which I usually buy from AliExpress or Temu. Lately it's been AliExpress. Generally find that AliExpress is cheaper for a lot of things, you know, than Temu. Considering it's the same thing, it's a bit strange. But yeah, AliExpress for me anyway, for the things that I've been buying, tends to be a bit cheaper. Okay, so I think let's grab a bit of our PVA glue. You can use your glue dots if you prefer. 3D glue gel, any of those things will help this stick. I find if I clamp it with the reverse tweezers with the PVA glue, it tends to be on there pretty strong, unless you come in and, you know, sort of really to start giving that a good press or pull. Okay, so let's just go with two big blue pearls on this side. And then because we've got nothing on this side here, I think I'm going to go one. Let's do an icicle. So I'm going to go with the biggest one first. Oops, that one's escaping. Come back. So I'm putting them close together for this one. And then we want another piece of glue. No, Amended. Another little bit of glue. For that one. And what I'm going to do, just make sure they're all nice and straight. Okay, I think that is going to be it. So just take that off. It's not quite stuck yet. This is why you have to leave it clamped on. But just so that I can show you, that is that finished card there. Okay, and I'm just going to go back, clamp that back on. When you see that in the photos, it will look better. I always put the photos at the start of the video just so that you can see what I am making on this video. And then this one, full disclosure, I did the sparkle pen erupted a little bit there. So what I've done is just pop some little peel off stars around that sentiment just to bring that in. But you can just see there is a little bit of sparkle. It is not the finest of, you can't lay it down really fine because of the brush is quite chunky. The other thing you could use though, if you didn't want to use that chunky sparkle overlay brush, is you can get some Jelly Roll sparkle pens, and I think there is a clear one in that, so that probably would give that a finer look for the glitter. But from my point of view, from what I was going for, just a little bit of sparkle in the background, I'm quite happy with that. But those are today's cards with that let me grab it out, with the night before Christmas. You can see we've still got four toppers there to use, including that Mahusive one, and then there's also the 2 printed sheets of the printed and foiled cardstock. Okay, let me just go and grab the magazine quickly. Okay, so I've just grabbed the magazine, and page 85, we've got a couple of extra toppers here, some little bits that you could punch out, some ribbons, borders, or on the other side you've got that wood panel. So that is the extra bits and pieces from the magazine, and obviously there's loads of inspiration in there as well. Well worth it for this kit, I feel. But you know, even if it was just for that embossing folder, it would be worth it, because that embossing folder is really usable, and it fits in with a lot of different Christmas themes. So you're definitely going to see a lot of it from me this crafting season anyway, for Christmas. So I'm going to be back next time with another set from this. I think there's 2 more sheets left to go, or 2 more sets left to go, so I will craft through those. Hope you're enjoying the Hunkydory birthday week. Really like the kit today with the cheeky sayings. I think that's going to be on my list. I wanted the advent pad because I did get the advent die recently with the last year's advent pad, because it's got a Scotty on it. So I'm probably going to get the pad from this year. I can't think what else, but it's definitely going to go shopping a little later from there, and enjoy the most of birthday week. Extra points and bonus points and things, absolutely brilliant. But that's enough from me till next time. So I will be back Friday today, so I will be back on Sunday. So have a great weekend, and hope you get to do some happy crafting. Take care. Bye.